Let's go. Hello and welcome to the Arsenal BiteSize Podcast. We're top of the league. It's another last-minute winner. I'm your host, Clayton, at Clayton's AFC on Twitter, and I'm getting absolutely cooked because I had triple Arsenal defence in fantasy football. I'm with my co-host, Nima, at FPL Nima. How you doing?
Mate, I am so buzzing. My wife was looking at me last night as we got close to kind of like the 93rd, 94th minute. And I was like, I honestly said to her, I was like, oh, it's not looking good. We're running out of
You dropped
time
there. It's
here.
not looking good, Brev, on her, innit?
Yeah. I was like, it's not looking good, bro. I was like, we're running out of time here. And I just, the game, I always felt, even at like 3-2 down, like I just felt there was so much of the game left. I was like, look, like we've made massive mistakes here. We've got this, man. It's a corner and two mistakes. I was like, we will come back. But in those final dying embers of the match is when I first started to have doubts, like the last minute or two. Yeah, I was like, okay, this is getting a bit close even for my liking. I think they said we've now won, well, not one, but we've scored like 5 goals, I think, in the final minutes of injury time. So it's crazy, man.
But yeah, just this season? That's that.
Just this season.
That's nuts. And obviously Rice has got 2 of them now. So he's absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, to be honest, it was one of those, like when was it Jesus Havertz scored? It was around the hour mark, right? Yeah, just checked. It was on the hour Havertz scored and it was 3-3. And I felt chill. Like as soon as we got it back to 3-3, I was thinking, oh yeah, we got more than enough time to go and win. And then say like it's getting to 70th minute, 75th, 85, and I'm like, and then same as you, like I was confident, and then it got to like added time. I was like, I don't think we're actually going to do this. And then the ball's going out there. Odegaard gives it to Zinchenko, gives it back, and it's going in the bot. And I went absolutely ballistic. Like I was at my friend's house watching it, and this guy, like we're hugging each other. He's smacking my back. Like I know he's going to watch this. My back is fucking bruised because of him.
You thought that my X-ray today was because I slipped during celebrations, right?
Yeah.
But that would have been a better story than the fact that I just slipped getting up at a desk near work. But
yeah, Nima texted me this morning saying that he's in A&E for an X-ray on his foot, and I was like, what the fuck was that, like celebrating? But even I don't think he watches or listens to this, but there's a guy on Twitter called Finn AFC, and I speak to him quite a bit, and he was at the game last night, and I messaged him like, are you alive? And let me find his specific reply because it was gold. Like I just can only imagine what the limbs were like. So I texted him,
you
alive?
There, right?
Yeah,
in Kenilworth Road. Wow.
Literally, I went, are you alive? And he went, barely. I was on the deck for 95% of that with people landing on me. My legs cut, back's gone, sides gone, arms cut.
Oh, wow. It must have been chaos out there. Like, I think what it was, right? And it's funny because people are obviously, I've seen a few salty tears this morning
of course,
talking about the fact that it was in the 96th minute and 24 seconds or some shite like that. But what's funny is, even though I say my hope was dwindling, in the like 94th minute, I think it was, I remember there was a moment when they were meant to take like a throw in, and like I just didn't see anyone going to get the ball. Like our player had the ball, and I did see the ref like touch his watch and like make it clear that he's adding time for this. Yeah. People just ignore the fact that like, oh, then they're like, oh, but people waste time in the 90 minutes too. Why is the wasted time and the injury time more important? And I'm like, are you guys seriously crying about this? Like,
and it makes me laugh that like against Wolves on Saturday, they had an extra 2 minutes, pretty much 2.5 minutes. No one said anything about that. But when it's Arsenal, of course, and then Arteta getting fucking booked for literally a normal celebration.
I saw his Carlos Kester. I saw him pulling him back. Like, I saw him. I even saw him run up to Arteta and warn him and be like, "The FA is watching you, PGM was watching." So he got stopped before he even did anything too crazy celebration wise.
Yeah, but what did he do wrong? Like, what is the actual?
He's celebrating.
Is that all it is?
Yeah.
By the rules, are you not allowed to celebrate a goal or like what?
Apparently not these days. Yeah,
because I know you're not allowed to go to the opposition's like touchline area and technical area. Sorry, I know you're not allowed to like run on the pitch, but the ground's so fucking small. Like you can't. I don't get it. I literally do. I mean,
that's what it is. The ground's got like 1 yard between the technical area and the pitch.
Yeah, because you know what I'm like. I genuinely like. I am the sort of person that I don't really believe in them against us narratives and this and that. And like I always try to see the reason in things, but this I genuinely can't see the reason in that. It's
Well,
absolutely
Arteta gave a quote, right? So they asked him about it, and he said that, "Oh, I got booked for celebrating." He goes, and he just literally goes, "We scored in the 97th minute. I couldn't stay rooted to my seat. If getting up and being happy about the winner is a yellow card, then it's a yellow card." So he
yeah,
was like, "Fuck it, I don't care."
yeah, fair play.
And
It's just
the end of the day, they were going to always give him the suspension for the third yellow at some point.
yeah, true.
They were going to find any reason at some point to do it, right? Thank God he misses the Villa game on the touchline, not the Liverpool game at Anfield. That's all I
Well,
can
you
say.
say that. I wish it was neither because I think Villa away is tough, and I wish it was like a game like Wolves at home or an easier home game. But it is what it is. But
Wait, you're
what
going
would
to
be?
love this. Just a couple of shout outs quickly,
I
and
was
then we'll
just
go
gonna
into
say
the
let's
show.
do that
Yeah.
before we go into the detail.
Because there's a funny one here from Bungle where he says Klopp pulled the hammy going mental when viral Mikel gets banned.
Literally, it's so true. Like he gets turned into like viral gifs, and Mikel gets banned. It's absolutely mental.
Morning, Tommy, as well. Tommy talks Arsenal, pumped from last night's results. Come on, you guys, fun police in full effect. We have FPL discomfort. Morning, guys. Bungle's sharing a story of his celebration at 7 a.m. in Tokyo when Rice scored. He was on the street watching on his phone, and he scared the shit out of a few people as he went nuts celebrating in front of a
Oh,
traffic
I
light
love it,
outside
Bungle.
7-Eleven. That's a
Absolutely mental.
fantastic anecdote, mate.
My mate that I was watching it with last night, he actually lives in Finsbury Park. And I was surprised, like when we scored, like we screamed his fucking flat down, but I didn't really hear many other people. Like there's a pub across the road and stuff. So I don't know if it was like a game where if you weren't there physically at Kenilworth Road, you were just in your house with your mates and stuff. But unbelievable, man. Like I fucking live for this shit. This is like my drug. These last minute winners, I'm just I don't know how we keep doing it. Like, it gets to a point where you do have to say, like, we're not just lucky. This is a team that just finds a way. And I feel like if it's any other old school team like Fergie, you remember the whole catchphrase Fergie time, and like, they just
Mm.
find a way. And then all the cliches of like winning mentality, this, that. And I can't remember who it was that tweeted this, but I saw a tweet from someone saying, like, obviously we score so many in the last minute. Maybe it is a game state that Arteta and the coaching staff focus on. Like they look for specific ways to actually put yourself in positions where you've got a higher probability of scoring in that game state. So who knows? I just think it's becoming a point where it can't just be a coincidence or luck anymore. I genuinely just think we have got that grit in us where we just find a way and we're relentless. So unbelievable, man. Absolutely
We
unbelievable.
obviously maintained like possession for a long time and we were constantly knocking on the door. So it did feel like that goal was always coming. But I do think you have a point that in those final dying embers, something I've noticed, and I think I've heard some people talk about this. I can't remember who it was, unfortunately. So sorry to not credit them, but they talked about the fact that Arteta seems to make a lot of his subs second. So
Yeah.
we never, if you watch carefully, make the subs first. No matter what's happening, we wait to see what the rival is
I
going to
think it
do.
was me. I think it was me you're
Was it
quoting there.
you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I was gonna say, yeah. I'm trying to think who it was because I listened to so much Arsenal content. It probably was you, to be fair, on one of the shows we were chatting about it, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, he seems to always wait, and based on what they do, he then tweaks something. And I think we saw it again, right? Like I noticed that towards the end of this game, it felt like Havertz was playing as a bit of like a number 10.
Yeah.
Like he was actually playing as like a traditional number 10 in the position he was. And on top of that, they obviously brought on Carlton Morris, which changed the way they would provide threat and gave them another option. So I did feel that we almost wait to see what the opposition is going to do. And then we try to find a weakness in that or tweak our system so we can have the best odds of scoring. On Havertz, I just want to give him a shout out because I think he was, for me, like showing in this game specifically. Obviously, he's got 3 goals and 3 starts now, but he's shown to me that like there is something there. And I think a lot of us were concerned before about like whether that something would ever come to light.
Yeah.
I'm starting to feel like the team know how he plays, where he will be. He knows where his teammates will be. Like those relationships are building. And something you said at the start of the season is that I almost feel like the Havertz needs Jesus to thrive.
Yeah.
And the times Havertz played without Jesus, there wasn't that ability for Jesus to be dropping deep. Odegaard's now playing from deep with line breaking passes.
Yep.
You got Havertz up there. If you look at even Jesus's goal, I watched the replay this morning, Clayton, and the way Havertz
Have
takes players with him,
yeah,
he's taken like 2-3 defenders with him to the near post, and he just leaves Jesus free, basically, like
yeah,
tap him, right? So I think if you look back at a lot of our season's goals where Havertz and Jesus are there together, or while Havertz has started to find this form, you'll notice Havertz is always in the frame
yeah.
near the goal scorer. He's always somewhere there, like pulling players with him. And I know that's not the only reason we signed him, and I'm glad he's starting to get goals. But I just thought I'd say that for the first time, I feel like I'm not just defending him blindly and saying, oh, yeah, he makes great duels and he makes great headers defensively. For once, I actually feel like this could be the
It,
Havertz that grows into a man at Arsenal and shows his
same.
best. Like,
And
I'm
that's what,
excited.
yeah, and that's what I think for me, it's like minimize the amount you need him to progress the ball and carry the ball and maximize the amount he is running off the ball in offensive areas. And that's what I think. Like, you look at his goal, it's like the minute it goes into Jesus, he's off. He's in somewhere else. Like you just said, for Jesus's goal, he's dragging someone else away. He's such an intelligent mover. And I think it's pushing him higher up the field, because I think he gets kind of in that left 8 role this season. I think we have to remove this idea of how Xhaka played that role, because I think
Yeah.
with Xhaka, it was a lot of kind of going to external areas to create space for someone like Zinchenko to invert. This one is more about his off the ball movement in central areas and pushing him higher and closer to goal. So I think I think our whole team is evolving in front of our eyes. And yeah, we just got to get on board with it and kind of just be open to it in how it's going to go going forward, and forget what we knew of last season, to be honest. But what
Feel
we'll
a
do,
different team.
yeah, we've got Plonkers in the chat as well. Morning all. Hey mate, hope you're good. Hope you're
Yes,
buzzing
buddy.
after
Come
last
on, you
night.
Gunners.
But should we go into it? Should we do the usual?
Yeah, let's go into it. I think Havertz we called out as an individual already, so we'll kind of
Yeah.
continue from there, right? Were any surprises there? Obviously, Kivior at left back for
Yeah, I was
Zinchenko.
gonna
Any
say,
thoughts on that?
like, if we go player by player, we'll probably be like 4 hours today. So let's just do like a few today. But
Yeah.
yeah, lineup came out, and obviously I think we both predicted Havertz in for Trossard. You did say, even though you didn't go with it in your prediction, you did say you could see a world in where Kivior comes in at left back. I think you said that.
Yeah, because I think what we were discussing was I didn't feel the partnership of Gabriel Saliba is going to be broken up going forwards. I thought
Yeah,
like Gabriel cemented himself since the early season droppings. And I still felt Kivior demands minutes for the level of player he is, and
I
you
thought he
need
was
him ready
poor
for
for what
later
it's
in the
worth,
season.
just in my
Yeah,
opinion.
I felt that as well. I felt like he was the one player in the first half when I watched him. I did actually feel nervous when they were closing him down and pressing him, and he had to get the ball away quick.
Yeah.
He was the only player when he had the ball at his feet in our back line. I felt a bit on edge. I don't know if that was just me, but it sounds like you equally weren't too impressed. But
Yeah, it wasn't that I found myself on edge when he had the ball. It was just like his decision making, and I didn't think he was good like in the actions he had to do. I just thought like his pass selection was a bit off. He kind of held onto the ball a bit too long sometimes. So yeah, I wasn't that impressed.
yeah, no, that's fair. I think he had a game to forget, but I think it's important to get minutes into all their legs, right? We're now in a situation where Timber's obviously out. We're hoping he'll be back soon. Like by soon, I mean this season rather than next season. And equally, we've got news that Tomiyasu could be like, obviously, it's not major, it's not a tear, but it sounds like it could be like 4 weeks or so, maybe 6 weeks. So it sounds like he could be out for a while with a strain. So we're kind of running out of defenders. And I think despite how Kivior was, we'd rather that nervousness yesterday in a win that we just about
Yeah,
managed than he comes in cold in February, March when we're deep into the cup runs or league run and he's just as nervous then. I'd
yeah,
rather he's nervous today, he misses out on the weekend, he starts again in the UCL group stage. Like, I just want him to get as many minutes wherever he can so that when we do need him, those nerves are gone. And I think
yeah,
it's in the chat, it's Plonka saying Kivior seemed nervous. So yeah, like yeah, that was my thing. What about Raya? I think it would be remiss to not go to him first because let's talk about the two that we were least impressed with first, and then maybe we talk about all the positives from there. So
yeah,
Raya was obviously I think he will be very disappointed in himself. The first goal, so their second goal that he conceded, he went for it. He ran out of goal. didn't beat the attacker. They managed the header in. That was 50-50, I'd say. Like, it's a bad decision by him. He should have done better. If he's going to come out, he's got to get the ball. But I think the third one, where he drops and it just goes between his arms and body, that was the one where I was like, oh my God. The second one I wasn't so concerned about.
I disagree on the second one. I think that's pathetic. I think that's really poor. Like,
would you have stayed on the line, or is it pathetic?
No, that's your area. Yeah, that is your area as a goalkeeper. I was really disappointed in him, and to be honest, it's something that, so as everyone will know, well, people that have listened and watched for a long time and know me personally, I was very open to a Ramsdale upgrade. I'm not sure. I think Raya is making more mistakes at a consistent level than Ramsdale did, to be honest. Sure, like what he gives us on the ball in terms of the way he slows down the game and the tempo and his distribution and pass selection is good. I'm not sure the errors that he's bringing have enough. I'm not sure if his game has enough upside to offset the errors that are coming with him, to be honest. Like, I think that was really bad. And I'll be honest, like, I love Arteta. I think he's best thing since sliced bread, but I don't think he's handled this well. And I think he's being a little bit of a hypocrite with it. Because if that's an outfield player, they're dropped in the next game. And I know Ramsdale didn't pull up any trees at Brentford, but
what do you think about his quote after? It seems like when he was asked about Ramsdale in the previous game, he just talked about the team. It seems he's now consistent with doing that about Raya as well.
That did make me laugh. Like, you can tell he's just got like a Bible of quotes, and it's like, when, like, you know, if then when. If asked about goalkeeper, say this. Like,
he's like, what do you think about Raya's mistakes? I am so happy for the team. It's like, how did Raya do? Oh, I'm so happy for the team. And then it's like, did you speak to Raya? Yes, I spoke to the whole team. The boys are celebrating. I'm so happy. And I just,
at least he's consistent. It does make me laugh.
Yeah, it makes me laugh. At least he's not like playing favorites in that sense. One thing before the game that I think was quite telling, and this was before Raya's mistakes, I just don't see a world in which Arteta gives a shit about the England national team or Ramsdale's feelings. So there's a lot of talk about Ramsdale going on loan in January, making sure he can get a Euro spot. I don't think Mikel gives a damn. I think all he cares about is Arsenal winning things. And getting rid of Ramsdale mid-season, should Raya continue to have these shaky moments.
Not in the best interest of Arsenal Football Club, is it? No.
Exactly. Like, imagine Raya has some shaky moments where he gets an injury. Are you seriously going to have, are you not going to beat yourself up if you then go on to completely capitulate at the end of the season, having let Ramsdale go on loan? And like that happens, Raya goes out of form or he gets injured. So I just don't see it. Like, obviously, fair play to Aaron. Like, I know he wants to go, but maybe wanting to be in the Euro squad can give him the drive to just push Raya all the way in training and fight for his place back.
There is an opportunity. Well, we say that, we don't know. Like, if we don't know if Ramsdale does well in training. Like, it could just be that Arteta and the coaching staff they're wedded to the idea Raya's the number one. That's it. But if it's being done fairly, and Arteta has publicly said we've got two number ones, Aaron Ramsdale deserves another chance based on Raya's showing so far. Aaron, FPL Plonkers, said he's got no concerns on Raya yet personally, still fully expecting him to settle down over time. I agree over time. I personally have concerns right now because I think if you're making that many mistakes, that's a concern for me. I stand. I don't think Ramsdale was making this many errors as frequently. But in terms of individual performances, obviously, feel free to add more on the keeper situation. But I think let's leave the individuals, because I think looking at the individuals that I think we'll probably cover that naturally when we talk about the state of the game anyway. Is there anything else
before we talk about the game? I just thought I'd say thank you to everyone who's here this morning. We actually gone over 10 concurrent live viewers, so double digits. We appreciate the support in these early hours of Wednesday, celebrating with us. If you do enjoy the show,
everyone's working from home and doing no work, just rewatching every bit of Arsenal content.
I'm gonna watch so much Arsenal content before we play Villa this weekend. My God! But yeah, guys, please do leave a like button if you enjoyed the episode. Show us some support; it would really mean a lot. And yeah, I think just talking about the game in general then. So
Just
how do
one
you feel
thing to
about the
add
game
as well.
today?
If there are people that are new, we're 10 subscribers away from 200. So that would be our Christmas present if we could ask for one, to get to 200 before Christmas. So if you like it, yeah, please give the stream a like and hit that subscribe button.
Yeah, please. Like, if we can get to 200 by Christmas, it will make us very happy. And we'll announce it later, but we might even do a little giveaway for the viewers at some point
Yeah.
to celebrate the milestone as well. So we'd be keen to get that out there. Unfortunately, 200 will not be a signed Declan Rice jersey, but there will be something. So yeah, let's go look at the match stats from Markar Stats from Twitter, of course. It looks good on paper, right? Like, but then it shows you how bad we were to concede 3 goals when
So
Luton's XG was just 0.73.
Yeah, so this is my summary of the game. So for the podcast listeners, just to read out, so the stats of the game according to Mark, our stats model, was a XG of 2.67 for us, and theirs was 0.73. Excuse me. Expected threat, we had 2.16 to their 0.82. Possession, like I predicted, I thought it would be high, 66.5 to their 33.5. Field tilt FC, like I said, I thought that would be high as well. Excuse me, 76.9 to their 23.1, and then defensive action height 51.2 to 43.7. And the way I see this game is very simple. We were good. Like, we nullified, fair enough, their set piece was really well worked, but we gifted them 2 goals and we created enough to score 4. If you resim this game based on those stats, 100 times, we win this game 98 times comfortably, 2, 3-0 or 1. Like, I am so happy with what I saw yesterday. I went full on Pep Arteta there. I'm so happy. But I just thought we control. Like, it's a tough place to go. And I think I was probably a bit arrogant going there, to be honest. But we went there and we completely played them off the park in periods. And then unfortunately, the game state fluctuated so much. But essentially, we just gifted them 2 goals. You don't score 4 goals in a Premier League game and come away lucky often. Like, sure, the way it panned out, it was a last minute winner. But I think people are really overlooking the fact that we literally gifted them 2 goals and they didn't really create anything. I want to say fair play. Their set piece was well worked. Like, good goal. Hats off to them. But other than that, nothing really came from them making us vulnerable. And offensively, the last 2 games have been encouraging. And I just think it's one of those where, yeah, like I say, if you rerun that game 100 times, we win that like between 90 and 98 times. So I thought it was really good.
Yeah, what do you think about? So, just something that I found interesting was no one held the lead for very long at all. So, when you look at our
Yeah.
first goal, uh, they equalized. I think we were leading for about 5 minutes, and then they equalized.
Yeah.
Then we went ahead just before half time, but that lead was only 4 minutes, I think.
Yep, it was.
Then and then they went ahead a few minutes after that, but then their lead was only 3 minutes. So it was
Yeah.
like 5 minute lead, 4 minute lead, 3 minute lead, and then it was equal all the way to the 95th minute. But it was just a bit of a nuts game. So as Tommy says as well, in the 93rd minute, we had 48 touches in their box compared to their 7. I did think it was wild that they had 4 shots on target, 3 goals.
Yeah.
Like, that just showed how, like, as much as our attack seems to be purring again, we're finding fluidity, something we've been looking for all season. Our defense was definitely shocking in this game. But
See, I don't think
I
our
think,
defense was shocking.
well, I don't think it was shocking, but what I guess maybe we underestimated them. But now when we
Yeah.
look at it on the reverse, obviously, Spurs went there and barely scraped that win. Like, they dominated and just about won. There was an offside goal for Luton in that game, I believe, or a foul was called on the Luton player who scored the goal, so it didn't count. But it was fucking tough for them, right? Like,
Yeah.
Udogi dived, or whoever it was, Basuma, I think, dived to get a second yellow from desperation of not scoring more. So that was Spurs' experience there. That was tough for them. Liverpool equalized in the 95th minute.
Yeah.
95th minute. Like, this is not an easy place to go. And one thing I'm really happy about is that Mikel Arteta's army are breaking bad records this season. They're killing them off. So these, like, 30 years we've not won at Kenilworth Road. If we hadn't won yesterday, Clayton, Imagine Luton get relegated and they don't come back up for 30 years. The
See,
next time we see
I
these
don't give a
bastards, they'll say
shit
60
about.
years.
I don't
No,
give a
no, but
shit
I
about
do.
records
I
like that.
do. No, I
Why?
care about
It's
records
irrelevant.
like no, I care about records like we've not won at Spurs for 7 years, or we've not won at City for 8 years, we've not won at United for 9 years. Like,
Yeah, but they're
I
in the
want
league.
Mikel's boys to get rid of
Luton
them.
haven't been in the league for like 11 years. I think it's so.
I get that, but say they're then out the league. This was our only game chance to get rid of that. So what I'm saying is that I feel that this team has the mentality to get rid of every negative record, even if it's a novelty record like that one where they've not even been in the league for 20 of those 30 years or more.
Yeah, I didn't give a shit about stuff like that. Mine is just like fucking win 3 points and help us win the league. That is it. Like, yeah, the Spurs, Chelsea, City ones I care about because that's something that is ever present.
Those are serious because you're like, we play them every bloody year.
Yeah,
We need to win at their
like
stadiums.
it was something that, to be honest, pre-match it was winding me up. The amount of people I saw mentioning that, I was like, it's literally got zero fucking
I
relevance.
thought it was like a joke. If anyone was saying it seriously, then they need to get their head checked, I think.
But yeah, in terms of the game though, like the one thing I do agree with is, yeah, I think I completely. It's an interesting one because I was going to say I completely underestimated them, but I don't think I did because the game, other than the 2 mistakes, the game went as I thought it would. I thought on the ball we were a different universe to them. Like the way we popped it around, they couldn't get close to us in periods. And again, you look at the stats, like if you just forget the scoreline and forget how the game went. If someone just woke up from a coma and they looked at this statistically, be like, oh, it's fucking domination. And yes, it was. It was just that, like you said, the state of the game fluctuated so much because of the goals. And I guess that's the best thing to do right now. Should we do what we usually
Let's talk
do?
about the goals.
Go
Yeah, let's
by
go goal by goal. Yeah, let's do goal by goal.
So how are you feeling in the lead up? Yeah, sure. How are you feeling in the lead up to the first one? So obviously we got the goal on the 20th minute. It came from a clever bit of work. Kaminsky kicked the ball out for a throw. Jesus goes, picks up the ball. Saka does a little clever
I love that because I was thinking to myself that they really took the opportunity there that throwing can't be offside, and just like the feint made the opposition think that in their mind they're obviously still thinking, well, he's offside, because like just in that split second, even for that millisecond, you're not thinking, oh, they're gonna take a quick throw in and this offside position might benefit him because then he'll run back in and out and weave me around. And we actually tried to do a similar throw in later towards the end to try and get the winner, if you noticed. I don't know if you saw it,
I can't remember that, to be honest.
There was a period where we didn't know where to throw it, and it was an injury time, I think. And a few of the players started like doing that Saka darting in and out near the byline, and then we threw the ball over to them, but it didn't. I think Odegaard ended up getting it. He then pulled it back and tried to swing it in someone, but it didn't quite work out. But we realized that they switch off on those, so we tried it a second time. I love that. And Martinelli, I was so happy for him just because I know he's only had 1 league goal before this season, but he's been instrumental to the way we played the last few games since he came back. And I just don't think the output's been there. So it's kind of not been ideal. But what he does for us is like pivotal to Mikel Arteta's team. Like what he does defensively and work rate wise off the ball, I think that's like key to the way we play game.
That. Yeah.
What he does in the team is unique. Like, there's no one else who can do what he does. Like, I know Saka on the other wing is fantastic, and Saka probably has better creativity. But Martinelli, he just does a job. So I think the reason he's not been scoring is because his job is more than that. He has this huge list of tasks he needs to do to rattle the opposition. And, you know, he turns defenders inside out the way he runs at them. So I was very happy for Martinelli, and I'm really happy for him. Great goal.
That throw on, like, I know it was different, but it reminded me a lot of. You remember Watford away when Arteta gave it to, I think it was Cedric at right back. He played it
for the quick
out
throw
to Saka to Odegaard, and then I can't remember how the rest of that went, but I just remember it was that quick throw in.
It's just very sharp, right? It's like just being sharp enough to take that advantage, that 1% advantage.
Yeah, and that's what, like, so that obviously goes in. Saka cuts it back, like you said. Well, who was it that dragged? I can't remember who was it that dragged someone away for that goal. But Martinelli obviously cuts it in nicely, and we're 1-0 up. And I'm thinking, here we go, because first 20 minutes was us. It was a really small pitch, and you could see that. Like, I actually thought, given how small the pitch was, we were very good at maximizing it. I thought the
Mm.
way we were popping it around and trying to create space and dragging them out and moving them around, because there were times where they thought they had us boxed and we would keep finding the extra man. And I thought it was really clever. Unfortunately, I think because of the way the game went and the two silly goals we gave away and it being a last minute winner, I actually think we're going to get overlooked with some of our actual positional play in this game. I actually thought it was really good in periods. But anyway, 1-0, thinking, oh, here we go. Yeah, nice and chill. And then a corner comes in and Osso scores. Do you have any thoughts on that? I know Martinelli was kind of tracking him and it went over
Yeah, it felt like he
Rice
kind of
and
lost his runner. Yeah, it looked like Martinelli didn't stick to his man. But yeah, I think it was Osho's first goal. Obviously, he's a defender, so maybe you don't expect him to be such a threat. But I do think it was just a very well taken set piece
same.
by them. So unlike the other two goals they scored, where I blame us, even though Martinelli could have kept with his man, I just think you got to say credit to the players from Luton for that set piece routine, because I
Yeah.
think over half of their goals this season have been from set pieces. So
Oh, really?
that is like a strength of theirs. It's not like, oh, they just happen to be lucky. Like nearly, like they're one of the only teams in the league, I think, that have less open play goals than set piece goals. So
Oh,
like
wow.
they're very good at these set pieces. Yeah, they're very good at them. So
I
yeah,
was the same as you, to be fair. I just thought it was one of the, like, yeah, sure, he probably could have done a little bit better, but hats off to him. Fair play, well worked goal. And then obviously, in between that and the second goal, we're kind of trying to find our way back in. We're moving the ball, popping it around, and I think the second goal, Jesus has said, I absolutely loved it. The way like Rice passes it out to White, White into Saka. Odegaard's so clever where he drifts into space, and this is what I was saying in the preview, right? Him facilitating deeper is what unlocks space elsewhere because people have to go to him. And then it gives space for White, Saka, Havertz now in this system. And I thought that was so clever where Odegaard was positioned. Saka then plays it through to White. And I don't know what it was about that ball. Aesthetically, it was just so beautiful. And the way it was just looping, looping, looping. Like you said, Havertz dragged people away. And it was basically an open goal. Like I can't
it was
put
like he landed on his head. Like it was
yeah,
just,
it was
but the
inch
timing
perfect.
as well. Like I actually watched, like Jesus took a step back, then ran forward to build up speed. So it was almost like he timed it so that he saw Havertz going in, who was dragging the two players with him, and Jesus stepped away from the goal, and that more of them focused on Havertz, and then he ran straight in and
I didn't
beeline for
notice
the
that.
header.
Fair play.
Yeah, so when I watched that kind of shimmy movement of Jesus just going one step back and then bang, sprinting forward, I was like, okay, these guys, the chemistry is really building here. But White's ball, that delivery, I was so impressed. It was just the way it dips in, yeah. Like it was like
It
he
was
kind of just like, it was like like playing on a playground with your friends, like you're trying some cool trick or some new technique. Like I was like, oh damn, Ben, you're a lot better attacking wise this season. You're getting better by the week.
I think it was like the deft way he dinked it in into the area where it was literally a free header that close to goal. I think again,
And he
underrated
was running
action. That was
fast as well. Like it
yeah.
wasn't like he did it from standstill, like from a free kick. You know what I mean? Like with a run up and loads of time. He did that like while sprinting at full speed, trying to get past his man. So I was very impressed by that. I'm very happy for Jesus because he's someone else who I think our team is so much better with him, and he is the signing I think that's kickstarted the entire revolution of
Yeah.
like this period of the Mikel Arteta squad. So like when you look at the season before last, before Jesus and Zinchenko came, like we were a different team.
Lacazette.
Yeah, like we were a different team. Like now with Jesus, people forget, I think, how good he was in the pre-World Cup period of last season
Yeah.
before the injury. And even when he came back towards the end of last year or like the start of this season, he was injured. I think people just underestimate how much he raises our level
Yeah.
because he brings out the best in everyone else. But equally, I then feel bad when I'm like, everyone thinks he's not a goal scorer. My
He's not a
guy
goal
is like,
scorer, but that
but I think that, so when he does get a goal, I'm like
yeah.
happy for him because I'm like people see him as not a goal scorer and they only look at everything else he does. You could say Jesus is world class at everything apart from goal scoring, right? I
Yeah,
think
but
so.
I agree. But in this, like, this is why I agree. I think we need another centre forward, but it's more to add to the versatility of what we have as a group. I think Jesus is one of the best number 9s you can have for this Arsenal system. And you look at the way it's progressing, and you look at how Arteta is trying to use a Havertz type profile as more of a second striker, drifting in spaces. That is tailor made for a Jesus. Like, I don't want him to be a focal point number. When I say like, because he basically is a focal point inadvertently, but I don't want him to be like a 25 goal a season striker, because I know that will take away from what he gives us overall as the facilitator in the final third. And again, well said, because I think he's become like too underrated, and I think just appreciate him for what he is and forget what he isn't.
You know what it is? It's spreadsheet wankers. So like, and I'm just being real.
He says with XG on the screen.
yeah, spreadsheet wankers, man. Like, they're looking at XG underperformance, variance, finishing, and I'm like, that's all well and good, bro. But I'm pretty sure when we did the kind of summer episode when Jesus signed, I'm pretty sure my guy has like the best minutes per goal contribution ratio in like the entire Premier League in like the last 20 years, like compared to like literally anyone who's played anywhere near the minutes he has. So like, he's up there for returns as well. I know we laugh about his output, but look in the Champions League, bro. Like, my guy is constantly popping
Champions
off.
League
Like,
Jesus is different.
yeah, Champions League Jesus is a real thing. I remember you said that when you look at the XG underperformance in the Prem with him when we signed him, if you actually include the guy's goddamn UCL games for City, it's
all
a different
comps, it's fine.
story. Yeah, he looks fine. So I think people just fixate too much on like one metric in one competition, playing at right wing for City, a second choice striker. Like, he is our main man. He's the one who told our players we need to try and win the league, and they laughed at him. He brings a mentality our players did not have before his arrival, and I just love him so much. I do think we do need a striker, as well, to supplement him, but I think that will be next summer rather than this January. Mainly because of obviously Partey. I just do not think I will be fuming if we go into the end of a third season relying on Partey to stay fit for our ambitions and hopes and dreams. If we've not learned from this mistake, he fucking disappeared when we needed a top 4. He fucking disappeared when we needed a title. I will be fuming if we do not buy a central midfielder to protect Declan Rice right now, because
I think, to be honest,
we need someone there. Like, I'd love a striker, but you're not going to get the striker you want in January, in my opinion.
No, I think a defender is more of a priority, to be honest.
I think a defender is.
I'm sure, like, if we have time, we'll do Q&A, and I'm sure we'll talk about that. But yeah, so anyway, going back to the state of the game. So yeah, 2-1 up just before halftime. Lovely assist from White. Great goal from Jesus. Come out halftime, and again, I don't know about you, I'm thinking, yeah, we got these 2-1. We'll go and pop them off now. And then they get a fucking corner, and it's a really good delivery by Alfie Dirty, who me and my mate, like, this is going to sound horrible, but me and my mate were actually, when we were watching the game. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. So say hi to Bobby in the chat.
Sorry,
He's just
my
arrived.
screen has just gone black, but I don't know what is going on.
That's happened to me before. We can still hear you though, and you're moving. It might be frozen on your side.
It's probably my HDMI cable, but
so I guess you can't see the screen, but you are.
As long as you can hear me, that's chill.
Yeah, we can hear you. You seem to be
fine.
Yeah, you seem to be good.
So what I was saying was, me and my mate. This is a horrible comment, but we were just looking at Alfie Doherty, and we just said he just looks like the kind of guy that will be shit. He just looks like a bit of a pub player. But anyway, he put in a great delivery, and obviously Adebayo got the better of Raya. I saw a few people saying, could Rice have done better? I actually thought Rice did the best he could. Like, that guy's just a fucking powerhouse. I thought Rice tracked him every second of the way, and then when it gets to that area, that's where I believe Raya has to do a lot better. But I know you said you weren't too disheartened by that, or?
Yeah, well, I think it was bad. If that was the only mistake, I'd be focused on it. But because the following mistake for the third goal, I just felt that was even worse.
Yeah.
Because, like, for me, like, there wasn't really, I didn't see any power in that shot, and he still went to ground after it had already gone past him. So I'm thinking, like, I know it was close to him. Maybe he didn't have time to react, but I'm like, the replay looks so bad for that third goal, the way it goes between his arms and body, like in that tiny gap. And I was just like, nah, man, this is poor. But the second one was poor too. I do think it was the right decision to come out for it. But yeah, like, if you're going to make that decision to come out and claim the ball, you have to do better. If he'd stayed on his line, maybe he couldn't have saved it. Maybe he could, so we'll never know. But I just feel the third goal's mistake was worse for me personally. But they're both pretty shocking errors to make. Like, the rating you saw, I know the ratings on the score apps aren't exactly great, but it's actually the lowest score. It's the lowest score of a goalkeeper this season in the Prem in any match.
On FOTMob?
Not the FOTMob one, but there's another one where
I saw Who Scored's one was 4.10, and they said that was the worst one. Yeah, but on FOTMob, they gave him a fucking 3.3.
3.3. Yeah, it was bad, mate. It was bad. That's all I know. So both those incidents were horrendous, if you ask me. I just felt the third was worse than the second. That's the only thing.
Well, let's get on to it. So obviously, that was the 49th minute that they had that corner, and then in the 57th minute they went ahead. And do you know? You spoke earlier about Martinelli's defensive work, right? I actually think, okay, so Barkley wiggles his way through. I think Odegaard should have done better with the tackle. Barkley then it was a really good pass into the central area. I forgot who it went to, but Rice almost gets a toe on it. And again, I know he didn't get it, but his anticipation of where the next action is going, he knew where it was going. He just didn't quite get there. But then Barkley's in some space, right, on the left and our right. And I think Saka needs to be going back and getting him there. He just kind of left him, if I'm being completely honest. I think Saka should have been tracking him there. But then anyway, the ball comes to Barkley, gets shown on his left, and that's pathetic keeping, man. Like, that's just basics. Like, that is something
Barkley will be happy. That's his first goal against Arsenal. I don't think he ever scored against us when he played for Everton.
Oh, really? It was his birthday as well. But that is just something that, as a goalkeeper, I think that is 9 times out of 10, you should not only be stopping that, but you should be collecting it and then redistributing the ball. So, yeah.
Do you know who it was? I think I know who the pass was to. Tommy says it in the chat. It was bloody fucking Tottenham academy graduate. Of course it was.
Yeah. But yeah, so that obviously goes in, and we're 3-2 down. And how are you feeling in that moment?
Yeah, like I still felt fine. Like I honestly still felt, I just thought, look, like these are 2 mistakes in quick succession. We've got 30 minutes of the game to go. We're fine. I wasn't confident of the win at this stage, but I was confident we could at least come back into it for a point. Sure. But I was pretty angry and disappointed about how it had happened and how we missed the opportunity to just control the game after sneaking in the kind of second goal to go ahead before halftime. To come out and to have them get 2 in quick succession like that, first 15 minutes of the second half, I was not impressed by us at all with that. But I just had belief still.
Well, that's the thing. You say you had belief, but you weren't quite feeling at the time that we would have the win. But then that all changed 3 minutes later, right? Because
3 minutes.
Saka lumps it forward. Jesus again. Like, this is what remember I said this ages ago. Like, when people say we need a focal point and stuff, he is so strong in the way he manhandles defenders for his size, and he does really well to compete there when Saka lumps it forward. And Havertz, it's the timing and like the triggers that he goes on that's so clever, because the minute it lands in the air where Jesus can pass it, that's when he's gone, and he pivots around the defender and he's 1v1 and he just pokes it past him. I thought that I was
just shocked because like the way Jesus backed into the box waiting for the hoof ball from Saka to arrive, took it down. And as you say, the timing, there was 2 defenders in the way, and he just does this like cute pass. It was like he just like the way he passed it was just, it was like playing like a little FIFA, man.
Touch. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was a deft touch. It's actually just pressed like some kind of finesse
L1 and triangle.
Like, L1, it was just like dink, and then it just lands, bounces 1 step in front of the fucking defender, chasing it on. And Havertz has no right to get there first and score that. So I was very happy for him as well to get the equalizer, because it was an important goal. I know he's actually contributed to a lot of important goals. He had the assist for the City game as well, for Martinelli's goal. Ooh. Yeah, no, so Havertz, I mean. Havertz. Right. So I was happy for him to score, because I feel like he's actually been involved in either equalizing or going ahead, whether he's the scorer or the assister or the hockey assister. Yeah. He has been involved in most of the important goals or assists in most of our big games.
And is that 3 and 4 for him now?
Yeah, at 3 and 3 starts. 3 and 4 games, 3 and 3 starts. Not so bad. Very happy for him to crack on from there. But no, that was fantastic. And just Jesus, I think he had a fantastic game. So I do think he was like man of the match levels. for me, it was
Yeah.
between him and Havertz. But Jesus he spoils us, man. He spoils us so
He's so
much.
good. But yeah, it was again a point you made earlier. So obviously it's 3-3 at this point, right? And you're thinking, okay, what's Arteta gonna do? But like you said, he reacts to what the opposition do. So Luton then made a triple sub. So they took off Adebayo, Brown, and Townsend, and they brought on Morris, Chong, and Ogbene. And then literally 2 minutes after that, we took off Kivior and Martinelli for Zinchenko and Trossard. And I liked the Zinchenko move. Trossard, I thought he was quite poor when he came on. I thought technically he wasn't quite up to it, and I thought his decision making was a little bit off. I don't know what you thought. I may be being harsh there, but I didn't think he was good when he came on.
Yeah, I thought there was a few moments that he showed moments, but yeah, he didn't quite. I don't know if it was the game state itself, like we were just desperate and we were almost like overdoing those last actions.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't see anything that like made me think that he was at his best.
No.
Yeah, I wasn't too impressed by his.
It was one of the like.
substitutability.
I'm sure it was driven because of fatigue purposes more than needing a Trossard instead of a Martinelli. But to be fair, like the Trossard point, I just wanted your opinion on it because I said it to my mate I was watching it with, and he thought he was poor as well. But
Yeah,
to
because
be
I
honest,
don't remember. Because now that you mention it, I can't think of anything
it's just
that I
very
saw from him.
specific things like pass selection and like misplaced passing. And okay, misplaced passing might be harsh because it was just decision making, and I felt like he was in the wrong areas and stuff. But to be honest, once we made the subs, it was just one way traffic, and that's when it felt like Saka and Odegaard in particular, they really stepped up, and it just felt like even though it wasn't infinite chances coming in terms of the threat and the areas in which we were playing, it just felt wave after wave after wave. And I thought this was where, you know what I said about against Wolves, Erdegaard was just dropping deep, he was facilitating, and we were playing through him. That's exactly what we were doing. And then there was one chance that sticks in my mind was I can't remember specifically when it was, but someone crossed it in. I think it was Zinchenko. It was almost like a similar move to the Wolves goal where like we kind of did a 1-2 around the left and he dinked it, and Havertz had a header, but he kind of just misjudged it and it went over.
I remember the keeper still had to get a hand on just in case, like it
Yeah,
was going in, but it didn't look like it
I
was.
thought he should have put. I thought
I
that should
thought
have
he
hit the
should have got
target.
on
Actually,
target. Yeah.
yeah,
I think he could have got that to go down a bit. It did feel like he missed that opportunity there. I was worried
yeah,
that was going to be the one we look back on and be like, damn, that was our moment to win.
yeah, same. But then obviously
Fortunately not.
time's going on. Luton make a double sub in the 88th minute, and then it gets to added time. The clock goes up. It's 6 minutes, and oh my god, like we're poking it around. Odegaard passes it out to Zinchenko. Zinchenko does well to cut it back. Odegaard has a quick look, crosses it in, and Declan fucking Rice, like, oh my god. I can't believe it still.
Just the limbs, man. Like the celebrations, like I was so happy. I couldn't believe it. And for it to be Rice,
Yeah.
we keep saying like we should. I'm at the stage now where I'm like, we should have just given West Ham another 100 mil. Forget 20 mil extra, mate. Like
he is unbelievable. Like he's a freak, and I actually thought this shows the standard of him. Like if you take away his goal, which I know you can't do when you're assessing a player, but I actually thought he was just like good this game. Like he just kind of did what was needed. But that's the thing. His good is just 7 out of 10, and that's almost. But because of the level he's been playing at, I'm at the stage where a 7 out of 10 is just like okay, and yeah, I thought this was like one of his games where he wasn't as influential, kind of on and off the ball, because he probably didn't need to be. But when he then steps up like that, he's just got it all. And Arteta even dropped in his interview, he's got aura.
I think he honestly does. Obviously, he was a young captain before he came. I think we've had a Dan FPL fella on the show before when we previewed the West Ham game last season, and he's been banging on this drum for years that Declan Rice is world class, and a lot of people just didn't appreciate that. Maybe they didn't watch West Ham play as much. So now that he's
I
kind of at
definitely
Arsenal,
didn't realize how.
I
good
didn't
he is.
appreciate
I'll
how
hold my hands up.
was. Like I knew he was good. I had no idea he could settle like this easily and just literally zero adjustment time. Like he's playing against opponents in the league that he's been playing his whole career.
Are there any other big money? Are there any other big money signings like this in the Premier League that you can remember that have just? The only one that comes to mind is Van Dijk for me. that have just
Yes, I think from a defensive point of view, yeah, I'd say Haaland last season, obviously, but
of
I think
course,
that's a whole different. Like,
yeah,
I don't even count on him. I don't think he's human, so
yeah.
he's just a
And
different
also,
universe.
that was 60 mil or something, right? Like it wasn't like world
Yeah,
rate.
well, that's what they say. Really, it was like 500 mil. The agent got 70 million
Yeah,
mil. Haaland's on like 800K a week at City secretly. Like, it's all fucked, mate. It's just add it
yeah,
on 116th charge and all, like it is what it is. But no, I think that the numbers of that deal, it would be naive to believe there was a number that was put to the media. That's a load of rubbish. But yeah, I think Declan Rice, I want to go one step further than just talking about signings and say, is it unreasonable of me this early on in his Arsenal kind of career to say that I think he's the signing of the Emirates era, the best signing of the entire Emirates Stadium era?
I don't think that's naive at all. I think so, quite comfortably as well.
I would never normally say that like this early on, and I loved Sanchez. Like, I thought he was the most exciting attacker to watch. Like he was one of the few players I got a shirt with Alexis 7 on. Like, I idolized him. It broke my fucking heart when he left, right? And Ozil, the day he signed from Madrid,
Yeah,
and like the Bale money that Madrid needed to spend on
and
Spurs.
the Arsene Wenger famous smile the day before when we beat Tottenham.
Yeah, man. Like, it's just those two. I think so. I think it's fair to say Ozil and Sanchez were up there. They were like, regardless of how it ended, when they came, they were. The Ozil one was fucking huge.
Yeah,
Like, it was like, well, it was like where were you in the world when this happened?
yeah.
Every Arsenal fan remembers hearing that news for the first time on deadline day. But Rice already just a few games in, I feel like this is the type of player that wins you titles.
Yeah, I think that's exactly it. Like when we
Like,
got
those players were great, but did we win titles? No. With
yeah, it was
this
just
guy,
cups,
I think
right?
we will. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think we
it was-
can win titles with this guy.
I think the way I would kind of summarize it is I feel like when we got Alexis and Ozil, they were very like entertainment and flair type players that were at the top of their game. And they were like, I don't want to describe them as luxury players, but they weren't going to be players that would single-handedly drive you to a whole new level. Declan Rice feels like, in terms of personality, I wouldn't say he had that kind of flair around his name when you were linked with him. Obviously, it was a British transfer record, but it's just more that is the fulcrum of a team that you've come in to be your nucleus, and he's going to elevate everyone to a whole level. And that's where I think it's a whole different ball game signing. And I think in his period at Arsenal, he will be looked back at as the nucleus that then elevated us to go. I really think under Arteta and this regime with him working with Edu and the Concretes are backing them and the club is just one voice, a signing like Declan Rice, I think we are going to win the major titles in the next few years. I really do. And
Yeah,
I said this.
I really think so as well. And I think you're right. Your point makes a really good. So I think maybe not luxury players, but what I would say about
Yeah, I
Alexis
can't think
and
of another
Ozil.
word. Like,
Yeah, so what I thought was more they were like the final man. It was like they were
yeah,
like they're the type of signings where I felt like they're your final piece of the puzzle to go and win. But if the rest of the team is fucked, they're not going to win it on their
yeah,
own. So they were
exactly.
like the final piece of a puzzle that you already. Let's say in a year or two from now, let's say next summer we sign Mbappe. That's the type of like they were like the last piece to
Yeah.
just win for years. But it just didn't work out like that,
Whereas
unfortunately.
Rice is like the glue for the
Like,
puzzle
he
for the next few years.
creates and then in a few years' time, then you bring in the next Ozil Sanchez
Yeah.
style type signing. They
Rice is
weren't like the guy
Rice
around.
is the layer of the cake, like, and then you get the attackers that are the cherry on top.
No, I'm not taking this, Bongo. He's
Well,
saying that, talking of best signings of the Emirates era, what's the worst? Kallstrom has to be up there. I am
my
not
guy's
accepting
penalty.
that, bro. Yeah, exactly. What do you
With
mean?
his broken
I
back.
know we signed him with a broken back, but he was ready to come in and win that FA Cup with a penalty, bro. Like, he came in for the one moment, the loan fee paid for. We have a guy who asked RVP for his fucking jersey at halftime in the tunnel at Old Trafford. So
Yeah,
if you're talking about worst, I will put that one there. I'm not even going to name him.
we should do that as an episode one day. Best and worst
Best and
Emirates era
worst.
11s.
You're going to get quote retweeted by the fucking player that we cussed. You're going to see like a Bentner's going to quote retweet you and be like, these XG virgin said I'm a poor player and then we're going to get piled in on by his fanboys, right?
Yeah.
That's what football Twitter is all about. We love it.
I know. Yeah, let's keep it moving. So
Yeah, let's
just
keep going. We'll go to the next bit.
final couple slides was just this one I wanted to add in again. I obviously put this in for the Wolves one, and it was just because on the eye, what I noticed in the Wolves game before I saw any data was I felt that we weren't progressing the ball through Rice as much, and Odegaard was being more of a facilitator in the early phases. And Rice got on the ball a lot more in this game, but again, it was Odegaard. He was dropping, and in periods, he was the number 6 in where he was picking up the ball, and Rice was moving into other phases and zones to create space for him. So that's a really clever tactical tweak that I've seen that Arteta has obviously looked at as the solution to get around the deep blocks. And I think I feel comfortable playing against deep blocks now with Jesus and Odegaard in the team, and Odegaard playing this deeper role and arriving into the box later. I think the space it creates is so clever. So I just wanted to include that again because especially that last half hour, he really stepped it up. He was brilliant in that last half hour, I thought, as we were going for the win. Do you want to add anything on that before we do some questions?
Yeah, Kaminsky, he's an interesting one because I think he's a good goalkeeper. Like he's someone who I think is underappreciated because of he's obviously a very busy goalkeeper. Yeah, I think he's the kind of goalkeeper where I could see a top club coming in for him in the next few years. He genuinely, when I watch him, like he looks very assured of himself. He looks very comfortable. And
other than when he kicked it out for the throw, but
yeah, that was a shaky moment. But we just said our own goalkeeper like gave them 2 goals, and Alisson's been looking shaky. He's the best keeper in the league, right? I just think goalkeepers is difficult, man. You make a mistake. Most of the time, that mistake is a goal conceded and a loss. Every other position on the field, if you fucking accidentally pass the ball as a striker to the wrong opponent, it's not going to always end up in the back of your own net, right? I think goalkeepers is you must have some serious mentality to be able to be a goalkeeper because every mistake is so scrutinized and so costly to your team.
Yeah, it's so true. Yeah, should we do?
Let's keep
coming
going.
up to the hour mark. Should we do some questions before we get
out
of
we've started a few comments. Do you want to just start on the first ones? So I think 3-5 who, right? You go there first.
Yeah. Adam? Adam 3-5 who. Don't think it's a question, but more of a comment. Havertz's off the ball movement all season has been excellent, but he's starting to do it in connection with other players progressing the ball quickly. Lethal combination. See, I don't agree that his movement all season has been excellent personally. There's been a lot of games where I've actually been at where I've seen space that he should have been in that he wasn't. But I think it's getting better, and I agree. The combination of him connecting with other players that are progressing the ball, it is a lethal combination. Anything you want to add on that one?
I think I probably tend more to side with Adam on this, but I'm more of a Havertz lover, I guess. I do know you felt he could have done more towards the final third, and that he some of the runs he was making weren't quite the right ones. I just feel it's more about like relationships for me, and for me it's the idea of what I was saying about like I just think like maybe some of that movement was there, but either the other players didn't trust him enough to find him, or just didn't know where he would be. So to us, it looks like he's in the wrong place. But actually, it might be that just that's what the coach wants, but the other players haven't quite clicked yet with him. Now I feel that chemistry is there. So I'm excited to see this hopefully continue. And I think the quick play we have, the technical players, like if you see like a Zinchenko, Odegaard, Rice, Jesus, and Havertz, and then you've got Sakura Martinelli waiting for you on the wings, that is disgusting. Like that team could one touch pass their way into anyone's net.
Yeah,
there are insane levels of technical quality there. Insane.
I just really like. Obviously, we've gone. Are we 5 clear at the top now in the league?
Yeah, until they all play today.
Yeah, so obviously, Liverpool City have a game in hand, but still, I just really hope this is the period where if we can get to Anfield on the 23rd of December, and we've still got a bit of buffer room, I think that'll be good. If we can go top of the league at Christmas again, that will really, really, really help us.
That was my main concern about the draw, because if it had ended a draw yesterday, Liverpool would come level on points with a win against Sheffield, and that was stressing me the fuck out. I was like, this is our chance to like play first and like build a lead and actually throw the pressure back into all their courts. Yeah. Like I want Liverpool and City. Like I don't think Sheffield would do anything against Liverpool, but Villa might be able to sneak something against City. Obviously Rodri's banned, Grealish is banned, Doku is injured. if there was ever a time for Unai Emery to do something really nice for us, he can give us an early Christmas gift with a big 3 points against Man City.
Yeah, hopefully. And yeah, you're right though. Like dropping points at Luton away when I don't think Villa away, Brighton at home, and Liverpool away is the easiest run. So yeah, huge 3 points. Next comment was Aaron FPL Plonker got to credit Luton, though they were insanely good at pressing us. Yeah, they were, but that's what I was even more impressed with our ability to navigate around it. To be honest, thought it was really good. Tommy talks Arsenal Asian Cup for Tomiyasu. Yeah, we obviously he's out for a few weeks, and then he goes to the Asia Cup if he's fit. We're down to literally Zinchenko and White as fullbacks, and Kivior can play there should we need it, but I don't think that's. Yeah, I just think we need another
I think
defender.
we need to get a defender in the January window. I think you're right. A defender and a centre mid if we can.
Yeah, I just think it's gone. I also don't think we get enough credit for how we're coping without Timber. Like to get to this point in the season.
He was meant to unlock this like entire new era of the
Yep.
of the Emirates, right? He looks so good.
Well, like yeah, I know what you mean. This next chapter of where we're heading as a club.
Yeah, as in like the chapter where the Emirates isn't just about FA Cups anymore; it's about Champions Leagues and league titles. Yeah. Just one thing on that, because I just wanted to comment on Timber. If you guys haven't seen it, do go check it. Obviously, we were on the breakdown live when we went last week with Adrian Clark and Nick, and they did on the breakdown live before yesterday's game. They actually showed like a day in the life of Yuri and Timber. And they followed him around and they showed a little kind of 5-minute segment where he showed what his match day looks like. So like when he comes to the stadium, what he does, who he speaks to. And it was just really nice to see him and hear more from him. Yeah. And the way he talks about the team, you can see he's also a very confident young man. Like he's the captain of Ajax, right? Like this is another serious, mentally serious player we brought in, just like Rice and Jesus and Zinchenko. Like I just think people do not understand the family bond this club has. And 100%. You can see Urian feels welcomed immediately, having yet to play an actual competitive game.
Yeah.
And the reason I just want to bring that up is I said I was really excited to see him this season. And one of my mates on Twitter, he was like, he's not played any games yet. And I was like, no, he said he's played 3 games so far. And I was like, yeah, I don't even count those 3. He's played 0 competitive games. But for me, it's about his character.
Yeah.
And I don't want to shit on people like Partey and Smith Rowe, but a little bit of shade. I'm sorry, guys. Timber, for me, shows what a guy is doing who's single-mindedly focused on getting back as fast as possible. I've seen videos of Partey out there raving in a club, listening to fucking, in his like limo, listening to R. Kelly, wearing like a fucking NBA jersey. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, bro, you man are like, you think you're rappers. It's a bit like the Aubameyang vibe. Like, I'm like, come on, guys. Like, be more professional. Be like Timber. Be like Rice. Be a pro who wants to win and treats their body like a temple. And every minute is focused on winning.
I'm one of those there was a video of Rice in a club, so
no. This is different. When you hear the R. Kelly music and him in the car and the way he's filming himself, I'm like, bro, how much alcohol are you drinking? Is this slowing down your recovery? Like Rice ain't always been injured. Rice is always available. Partey's always been missing for the end of our seasons, and he's world class when he plays. But when does he play?
He doesn't play enough. Yeah,
that's what I mean. So I just think we need players like that, people who their focus is winning Arsenal trophies, not just like being a happy, high-paid footballer, living it up, fucking drinking their own Kool-Aid. Like I've had enough of those days. We've had way too many players like that.
Yeah, let's fly.
But let's go quick fire now. Yeah, let's go quick
fire. Uncle Mike said, really pleased for Kai. Yeah, he's it's nice to see him smiling and getting involved in the kind of club, right? Like you can tell he's growing in confidence. He
seems like a shy guy.
Yeah, had a Bobby Love Mandem spoiling us with the pods this week. Yeah, we've been grafting, mate. So it's been fun, to be fair. But yeah, thanks a lot for all of you guys for tuning in for each one. It's been feels like it's been received quite well. Bungle, people that just look at 2D formations don't understand our system. So true. That is like one of my biggest pet peeves, people that still look at like formations and don't understand the zones that we operate and stuff. Tommy talks Arsenal. You covered this one earlier. I wanted to bring it up again because I just seen while I was on Twitter. So Tommy talks Arsenal said in the 93rd minute we'd had 48 touches in their opponent in their box compared to their 7. We actually had a further 4 over the whole game. So we had, this is the stat, we had 52 touches in the opposition box against Luton this evening. It's the highest tally in a Premier League away game since September 2016, which was against Hull City. So that, to me, it was just domination in terms of where we were operating. And then we've got a final few questions on the January transfer window. So Tommy talks Arsenal. Any thoughts on incomings, outgoings? Pontus, same question. Who would you like to see us sign? I'll add in there, Bungles. Will Ramsdale still be with us in Feb? And final one, Mike. On a scale of 1 to 10 of shitting it, how much does Cedric appearing in the first team again scare you? So, What is there anything you want in the transfer window? I guess for me, like in terms of Mike's question, on a scale of 1 to 10 of shitting it, I'm at 10. I don't want Cedric in the first team. I think he may get PSV away because we've topped the group, but I think we absolutely need a defender, and I think we'll get one.
Yeah, we need one.
I think
you don't think the academy kids like Royal Walters or any of these guys? None. Okay.
No, Arteta's not that way inclined.
What about Havertz left back?
No. I don't think we'll see.
You're like, just as he's finding fluency going forwards, I'm suggesting he plays left back.
No chance. I think we absolutely, in terms of the question, like incomings, outgoings, I think need a defender. I think we need another attacker for the group. I'm not sure what that profile is. I just think we need more firepower in there to maximize what Saka, Martinelli, Jesus can give us. And I think one for each group, to be honest. I think we need another defender, another midfielder, and another... When I say forward, I mean someone that can play wide and centrally. I'm not sure what that looks like, but that's where I'm at. I'm aware that's being very greedy, but we've been good this season. We're on the nice list. So Santa, give us some presents. What about you?
Yeah, no, I just think that I don't want anyone to go, firstly. I don't want to weaken in any shape. And I still think a defender and a centre mid, that's the 2 I want. That's the main takeaway.
I could see a world in where we cash in on Partey in January, and actually go, like we've been linked with Polinia.
I just don't think anyone's going to give the money that we want.
Saudi,
I'd love to sell him. Yeah, but they still didn't offer enough, I don't think. Well, I don't think it's even, he doesn't necessarily want to go to Saudi. I think it's the Italian clubs, and Italian clubs pay fuck all. They tried to offer 2 million for Xhaka. Like, you know what I mean? Like these Italian clubs all want loans with no obligation to buy, and it's just like, what's the point? Like, even if he's fit for 2 games at the end and that wins us the title, then keep the fucker. Like, get rid of him in summer. If the money from selling one of them gets you a João Palhinha, then sell. But if we sell and don't use that money this January, just sell in summer, in my opinion. I think that's my thinking. But we do need to sell someone if we want to get that big project Mbappe next summer. Because
do you think
I'll be real with you? If we're talking about Osimhen, but I'm still of the belief that Wenger's son will come. Then
do you know what?
French team will come back.
Maybe this is bias and stuff, but I think outside of England, I think we are viewed as one of the elite in Europe now, and I think we have a seat at the table to be in the conversation around Mbappe to Arsenal. I really.
It just depends if Madrid go in. If Madrid don't go in, and I know every 3 months it changes, but the last news was Madrid aren't going in. That's probably rubbish. It's just all mind games. But if Madrid didn't go in, where else is he going to go?
Yeah, mate. I think, like, in England, because of the tribalism, and obviously Arsenal is a hated club, we kind of get bogged down into this tunnel vision. We're the 4th favourites to win the goddamn fucking Champions League. Around Europe, we are respected. You see the way, like, some of the managers, the way Thomas Frank, like even Edwards, the way they talk about us, we are viewed as the elite in Europe. So again, it's just tribalism from fans in England.
It's like rival
that makes
fans
us think that we're down
about
here.
bottling and they don't accept anything.
We are viewed up here in Europe, so we are in that conversation. Not a doubt in my mind. We are one of the best.
I just feel like we've gotten to a point. Now. Yeah, I feel like it's the opportune timing where if we were where we were before Arteta arrived. Obviously, it's just like a total pipe dream to think of any signings like that. But it's just that 1% chance of getting someone like an Mbappe, knowing where we are. If we
think it's 1%
titles, this could be more. For my own mental health, I say 1%. If I expect it to be any higher than that, I'll be even more disappointed when inevitably he ends up at Madrid. But Until then, the dream is alive. Project Mbappe, you're going to hear it all season from me. And if he signs next summer, I'm going to clip the shit out of this section.
To be fair, though, I am with Mike. I don't think I want him. I don't want to block Eddie's path.
I love you, Mike. Thank you everyone for tuning in. It was a pleasure. I know we've gone a little bit over an hour today, but we'll be back on Friday, right, for the preview of the Aston Villa game. That won't be a quick one. But yeah, lots of episodes.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you. Just like what Bobby said, obviously we've been plowing them out this week, and we're trying to up the content we're doing. And there'll be new series that we're looking to do in the new year. So for all of you guys that always support us, thank you so much. As always, if you enjoyed it, please hit the like button. It helps us a lot, and it's a bit of a reward for something that we do. We try to squeeze in when we can in and around our personal lives. And if you're new here, please hit the subscribe button. We're a few away from 200 that we're trying to get to before Christmas. But we're back to top of the league. We're 5 points clear. Let's hope Liverpool drop points. Let's hope City drop points. And then let's assess where we're at on Friday when we'll be back to do the Villa preview. Thank you very much, everyone. Up the Arsenal.
Up the Arsenal. Come on, you Gunners.